Good afternoon, everyone. Hey guys, this is Bruce. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, June the 4th, and I'm doing the market update for Simpler Trading today after the close. I've got the ES up here on the screen, and we'll go over it and talk about some ideas and kind of what to expect out of this market. So, first of all, again, we're going to stick with the ES for now as our representation of the overall market, the broad market. S&P 500, and as you can see, we have been in this, today, pretty tight, choppy range here. We're going to go up and then we're going to come down. This is where ADP was reported this morning, down and back up at the open and back down and back up and back down and back up and back down. Just can't, just a pretty tight day. That's what 20 point range, 25 point range, pretty tight day. There was yesterday, and there's an overnight session. So the market does look like it wants to go higher. We're going to look at some individual names here in a minute, but let's take this. Of course, this was today. The light gray is the overnight session, for those if you don't know, and the black is the cash session of the day, the daily session that we have. So the market's closed now, and let me back this thing out. Let's go to a 20-day chart, and it gives you a little bit better picture of what we're looking at here. This red line is our Voodoo Fire line. That is a mixture of Elliott Wave and Fibonacci. It's some kind of custom levels that Dave Starr, who trades with us, put together, and they work very, very well. But as you can see, we come up into the Voodoo lines here, and we got above it. Now, once you're on the upper side, they typically act as support, But we came right back down through it. And then typically when you come up into it like this and like this and like this, they act as resistance. But in this case, went straight through it again. And then it held, then we went through it. And then, we're flip-flopping back and forth on these levels, right? And that a lot of that's based on news, but, it is what it is. What I really want to see is us hold this fire line, this Voodoo Fire line level here above, and, hopefully continue that way. And as you can see, again, this is ES 6008. We hit that, that was last Thursday. And, we're trying to reclaim that. We got so close today. All we got to do is reach up there and touch that. But let's take that out on a little bit even further time frame. Let's go all the way out on a yearly time frame. So what we're really trying to do is to break on through to the other side up here and get up here to our all-time high. Now, are we going to do it? I think we will. Kind of, I'm shaking the 8-ball, the magic 8-ball, and it says, all signs point to yes. But that doesn't know that there are tweets coming out by Trump and Powell says this or China says that or whatever. So, who knows? But we were deeply oversold down here, and I think that the money is still, we've been having forced buying here. Basically, all the money that came out down here is coming back in right here, and I don't think it's done yet. If you look at overall volume, especially on the institutional side, it does not look like it's done with yet. So I think we do keep going. Now, one thing we keep in mind is what is coming up on the economic calendar, always very important. And we have, today's the 4th, on this Friday we have payrolls, non-farm payrolls. That'll be a biggie, that the market will be looking out for to see what happens. Next Wednesday we have CPI. Next Thursday we have PPI, and then guess what? On the 18th we have Fed meeting. Now, you guys saw several times that Trump has, encouraged, let's use the right word, let's say he's encouraged Powell to cut rates, and Powell's like, nah, I don't think so. And he's sticking to his guns to do nothing, which, if I was him, I might do the same thing. He doesn't want to act too quickly and that type thing. And I think a lot of that is that he doesn't have a lot of powder left once he starts cutting rates, if it if it doesn't work initially. I think that's part of it. But he's trying to wait on data points to come out and so forth, and tell him when it's time and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is that we all saw on the on the rate hike side how it was pretty obvious that inflation's transitory was the theme, and he waited so long to raise rates, and then he raised was the shortest period in history, I believe. So the thought is maybe he's doing that on the downside as well. Who knows? I don't know. But we've got that coming up, so we do have to watch out for that. Now, also, if we go to our Fed Watch tool here, you will see that there is a 95% chance. See that current rate's 425, 450. There's a 95% chance that nothing is going to happen. He will keep them where they are, right? This would be a cut, 400 to 425 basis points. So 4% chance he's going to cut rates. So anything can happen. I don't think the pressure Trump puts on him makes any difference, but who knows? It might. I don't really think so, but it could. Also, the language around the Fed meeting, what he says is going to be important, on the conference call and all that kind of stuff. But so far, that that's not really in the picture in the short term. Now, what we do have that I think is possible is some tariff agreements that come into place, and I don't know about the next couple of days, but I think the next couple of weeks we could see some forward movement with China. If that happens, boom, we're up here. Of course, if they say, we're walking away from the table, of course we go this way. So, it's kind of been dicey all the way up, but the trend is higher, and we want to ride the trend until we're proven wrong. And again, so far, things look pretty good. We're on the upper side of this Voodoo Fire line here, and I think our next stop that's a Voodoo Skyline there, and then all-time high. And as you can see up here on the all-time high, we actually didn't hit to that level, but very, very close there, very close there, very close there, and then a couple times before. So we might get, if we can make it up here, which I think we will, maybe we come up here and get close a couple times before we ultimately go through. So that is what we're looking at on the ES. Same scenario on the NASDAQ. Now the small cap, mid caps have been lagging, and I really have been wanting to dip my toe in the water there, but I have not yet, other than some individual names. But at this point in time, I'm really just trying to focus on the bigger picture here. Again, which is the S&P and the NASDAQ primarily. I'll look at the Dow, and we'll look at IWM. We'll look at some of the others, mid caps and so forth. But really, as far as trading, really looking at this. So I do have a big list of names here, more than usual. A lot of good names to go over. I don't want to spend a lot of time here, but I just have a lot of good names here that are forming up, and not only on this list. I've got probably for a change, I've probably got 30, 40 pretty good looking names. So I'll look at the charts and see which ones look the best, that type thing. And then I overlay fib levels on there and see, kind of narrow out. I've got 40 names. Okay, 20 look pretty good, 10 look great, 5 look perfect. I'm going to take those, kind of thing. All right. So don't have time to get into that on this video, but join me in our trading rooms, and we go over all that stuff and line them up and take some trades. So with that, let me wind it up here. The next thing we were watching for is the bigger one, I think, would be payrolls on Friday. We'll see. And then in the next week, we get into some bigger, more heavy-duty stuff like CPI, PPI, and then, of course, Fed meetings. So keep all that in mind. And if you want to get in the trading rooms with us, there we have trial offers where you can get in there with us and trade. We're in there all day long trading, so come check it out. We'd love to have you in there. So let me know if I can help. I'm at Simpler Trading. I manage a room called the Bias Room, and I'm in the main room as well. So let me know if I can help. So thanks for your time, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Take care.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me